Lena here from Girl Teach Me, and today I want to talk with you about what it's like to get your kids outside for 1,000 hours every year, which comes out to around 2.5 hours a day. I want to talk today about why that is helpful, how that can be accomplished, and what are some things that you can do getting your kids outside that much, and how it doesn't have to be 1,000 hours. You could even start with something like 250 hours, 500 hours. But I think the goal is to just get your kids outside more. This can even go for being in a city. You know, there's parks. Just getting outside is the point. You don't have to live in a mild weathered place or have a huge backyard to get outside. It's totally possible with whatever you've got, wherever you are, to just get outside. Okay, so the why. A woman named Jenny started 1,000 Hours Outside. It's an Instagram account and a website, and they even have an app where you can track your hours. But she says that kids on average, I think this was like 10 years ago when she started 1,000 Hours Outside, were spending around 1,200 hours a year on screens. So crazy. I'm sure that number has gone way up since COVID. And so her goal was to start a movement to try to counterbalance that amount of time that kids are on screens with lots more time outside. And what she found through all of her research was all kinds of really cool stats, a lot of them coming from pediatric occupational therapists because they're on the front lines of seeing kids, how they're developing, how, comparing it to how kids were developing 10 years ago and how things are changing. And one thing they said is that there's all kinds of changes. Things are crossing in the brain that are going to help kids read faster. Cognition is improved. Eyesight is improved. Just being able to look out and see in the distance and having to judge distance and then ants really, really close up, that develops the cones and the rods in the eyes. That in our brains, when we're having to do more and more advanced motor skills, our brains are firing faster. The neurons and the synapses are having to fire, and so that even builds up the speed of our brains. So many cool things are happening to our kids' intellectual abilities being outside. And I think there's just this thought that kids are getting smarter when they're sitting down and doing a worksheet, but I think just the opposite is true, that they're actually seeing that kids learn and grow so much better when they're allowed to be a kid, and that the strongest adults are the ones that have the healthiest childhoods, and letting kids have a childhood. So that's the why. There's a million more reasons to the why. I think an extra thing to the why is just a happier mama, just feeling better as a mom. I know this morning I just woke up and realized this was not going to be my day. I was just on the wrong side, and usually I am the variable in the equation that leads to a bad day. And so I knew we needed to get outside. We went to a local spot that I'd never been to. We went to a waterfall. It was so amazing. A little bit risky. We saw a couple of water snakes and there was some slippery rocks, but it was so good just to be outside. I feel totally recharged. We were there for a couple of hours, and that wasn't my first big adventure. I have slowly built up doing these adventures, mostly through my homeschool group called Wild and Free, and you can find one in your local area. But these mamas come together and they do these outdoor adventures together. So that's my why, is, on the days where I'm really down or I'm just not doing well and I'm tempted to just yell and break relationship with my kids and my mama anger is getting all crazy, that going outside, even in my backyard, just makes me feel more sane. Taking my shoes off, putting it in the grass and the water, I just feel so much better. So that's my why. Okay, the how. It can literally just be letting the kids be outside. And one thing that I learned is that when kids are outside, sometimes initially they say they're bored, but it can take up to 45 minutes for kids to kind of figure out how they're going to play outside. And just having nudges outside that encourages them to come and play. Swings, trampolines, all of that is wonderful, but also kids find a way to play with sticks and rocks and things that we wouldn't even think are toys, right? And so just letting kids have the time to become imaginative and to pretend. We don't have to entertain them all the time. Kids are really good at doing that themselves. And I think another thing is bringing some friends into the mix at a play spot and just letting the kids be kids together. So let's talk about some extra logistics that I've learned that are really, really helpful. When you're going to do an outdoor adventure, make sure you take enough snacks, take some protein, take enough water. I have gotten out to some really awesome adventure spots with friends and I've ran out of water. And that was so frustrating to have driven, 30, 45 minutes out to this really cool nature spot, and then lo and behold, we run out of water. So take more water than you think you need. Stop at a gas station, pick up a big jug. Those are just tricks that I wish I knew. Don't be afraid to let your kids go to the bathroom outside. Bring your baby wipes, maybe a little grocery sack. That's just gonna happen, and you may not always have a bathroom available. Put a pack on your back, carry a kid or a baby in an ergo. Those are ideas, but doing it with other mamas really, really helps if you feel nervous. I have certainly felt nervous being out on a trail or things like that. I don't like to do that kind of stuff normally by myself, and so I feel a lot more comfortable in groups. So get in a group. Wild and free groups are really, really great, but just go with another outdoorsy mama and you will be shocked. Just push yourself just little bits. Even walking a trail 10 minutes and turning around can just be so, so good for you. The sunlight, nature, all of that is just good for our souls. So that's a little bit of the how. Keep it simple at first. You will grow so much in your capacity over time. So I'm filming this in summer, but if you're watching this in winter, another thing to think about is just investing in some long johns, some little winter boots. I know it feels like a hassle to put all their clothes on, but honestly, even 10 to 15 minutes, no matter the weather, just getting outside, it's gonna make everybody just feel so much better. It's gonna remove all that angst. It's going to just refresh you so much, that cold air. I've heard it said there is no bad weather, there's only bad clothes. So just think about investing slowly over time in some good outdoor gear. I got some little snow jumpers at Walmart, and I got a couple at a thrift store. And even when it's not snowing, like little ski bibs, put those things on the kids and send them outside when it's really, really cold. I know that's something I had never really thought about until I saw another mom do it, is to just put snow gear on them when it's really, really cold. The last thing I'll finish up with is, we don't have to do the 2.5 hours every day. What that might look like is on a Friday or Saturday, you get outside for a long period of time. Maybe you start trying to learn how to camp, just maybe more extended periods of time to get those hours in. Could be really, really quality and life-giving for you and your kids. I know personally, I feel so alive outside. I feel so much happier, so much better. I feel like a better mom. I feel like I can focus on the relationship. I can focus on my kids when I'm not in my house and messes aren't constantly being made around me. I have a 7, 5, 4, and 1-year-old, and so lots of messes, lots of crazy, lots of regulating emotions. And so just consider getting outside, even for just a little bit every day. And I really think you'll see an improved mood. I think you'll see a difference in your kids, just allowing them to be kids and not having to sit so much, getting them away from screens and just getting out in nature. It's just so good for us. I think that's how we were made. We were made to be outside. So if this video is helpful for you, I would love for you to hit subscribe here at Girl Teach Me. I usually make videos on new motherhood, real food, and creating a peaceful home for the people that you love. But basically, I'm making videos that I hope make your life better and help you learn to lead yourself.